He takes 300 Canadian politicians and delegates to the Paris Climate Conference. Twice as many as the United States, 3 times as many as the United Kingdom. And so and look, he's entitled to do that, just like Harper was entitled to go outside the wire.
I went through that list. I found at least 4 professional photographers on the list.
But have we heard anything about, oh, this guy's like a green environmental freak. This isn't balanced. This is no. To me, when ex-diplomats and journalists in the chattering classes, as you say in Montreal, Toronto, when they say a politician lacks nuance, to me it's a guise for he doesn't agree with me, right? Or she doesn't agree with me. And another example I would give would be Harper on Israel. And frankly, Brian Mulroney on Israel. Very strong supporters of Israel. So much so that they were criticized by, particularly Harper, by diplomats and journalists. Oh, this policy lacks nuance. I can guarantee you when the liberal policy reasserts itself, as it was under Chrétien and Paul Martin, and it will under Trudeau, I'm not saying it's anti-Israel, but it's much more pro-Palestinian. No one will say of the people who criticized Harper for being too allied with Israel, that now he's too allied with the Palestinian side. They will say that's a nuanced foreign policy.
Can I give you an example that stuck in my mind? Shortly after Trudeau was elected, before he was even sworn in, and he was the Prime Minister designate, he was not, there's that short interregnum. Barack Obama made a congratulatory phone call to Trudeau, which is standard protocol, very ceremonial, just a quick, hey, saw you did it, congrats, we'll talk more later, just want to touch, like a friendly phone call. In that very first phone call, it was not a substantive policy phone call. Trudeau, I didn't listen to the call, but I bet he blurted it out, we're pulling out our 6 CF-18s. In that first friendly ceremonial call, he said, no, we're pulling out the 6 CF-18s. Nuance? Is that nuance? It was so bad that the United States ambassador to Canada made a public plea. He didn't go through private diplomat. He said, please, Canada, change. Is that nuance? So nuanced that Obama, 2 weeks later, pulled the plug on the Keystone XL pipeline. I'm not saying Obama was in favor of it, but under Harper, things were kept in check?
Well, let's look what had happened. Today, in Paris again, where the 300 Canadian politicians went, there isn't one defense minister or any official from Canada participating in the 7-nation alliance, of which Canada used to be a part, of leading the bombing campaign against ISIS in Syria.
Yeah, now, Australia flew all the way in, Netherlands.
So to me, what I would say again is, so why doesn't anybody call what Trudeau did, as you say, suddenly we are outside looking in on a major issue of our time, which is the threat of terrorism. Warren Gunter in the Sun Media chain made a very good point yesterday. Recall how the Liberals went nuts when Canada lost a Security Council seat at the UN.
And that was because we were voted out by a bunch of dictatorships.
Something that people like me thought was probably Canada's finest ally. Yeah. But if it's important to engage in the international community, then why is it so important when it's the United Nations Security Council, but it's unimportant when you have a coalition led by the United States, not led by a dictator, trying to basically figure out how to solve root causes that are causing all the Syrian refugees to flee around the world. But you see, it's how you position it.